we can discuss. Has someone created any process that he wanted to review with me? Hello? Okay, because I've been told from Vinay that someone has created some process and they wanted to review with me. So I was just checking if there is any doubt. If you have in the process to get some feedback, I can do that. So, I mean, the question was basically the person wanted to copy some text from website and then want to paste in, in a workbook in 5 different uh, worksheet, right? So this is pretty much the same thing that we did. So instead of pasting in one sheet, you can go ahead and paste in 5 different sheets. You can do that. So I mean, the way of doing can be different. Like there are many ways to do it, but you can try that and let me know if you know if you feel any issue or if you wanted me to review your process. I can do that. So you are going and you're creating a object to read some content from the website, whatever content that you want to read, and then you pass that output to your process, and then you wanted to have a writer stage in the end of the process where you wanted to copy everything into workbook, and you can typically copy into 5 different worksheet also. So all those things you can do. It's a very simple thing. It will not take much time to do it. Okay, so now as far we have taken everything till now and have also gone through some of the consolidation exercises before. Anything which you feel that I have missed or you wanted me to take, any topic that comes to your mind? Venkateshan?
Karan, that one I have listed that one, right? So I have to check that one.
Yeah, you can cross check it. If in case there is something, so we have taken the credential manager and
Yes,
the most of the
yes.
topic that you have mentioned is from the queue, right? So queue mostly the tagging and how you can defer it and how you can retry those things, failed items, all those things we have taken yesterday, right? How you can do the filtering, right?
Yes.
So yeah, so all those most of the thing was there from the queue concept. So most of the thing I have covered. So practically, if you see, there is nothing much left. It's all like it's up to your practice. So more you practice, the more that you'll get the doubt. So and apart from that, in case if you get any issue in the any object action, you always have this to refer. So you can always, let's say if you go here So if you, let's say if tomorrow if you feel any doubt in what this particular action state do, so there is always a documentation. You can view the documentation, get the idea, try it, see, just play around it. So in that case you will learn better. Apart from that, there is one advanced consolidation exercise. So it is little advanced. People use, I mean, like it is more advisable once you get into flow after practicing and try it. But let me just pull it up and I mean, what I'll share the file with you, and I will ask you to go through the scenario, see if you can able to solve those things, right? Just give it a try, and then we will see it. So it is basically let's say one of the guy who was working in the project. He did something uh, as part of the scenario that he was received, and then he sort of left the project. So now there are some issues, there are some errors that are coming while executing the process, and this it has given to us to solve it. So how we will be doing it? So I have this file. Let me just import it. Uh, yeah. So I have this create code process. So one of the guy was working on this create code process. It is same for the BP portal application, but there are a couple of more scenarios. And I have one one PDF file jotting down all the all the scenarios here. So scenario one is something like, so there are different scenarios. So if you go through this, so this document provides a series of scenario providing additional exercises that training can carry out to gain more exposure to feature within Blue Prism product that has not featured in foundation training. So whatever we have taken, all the consolidated and all those thing was part of the foundation training. Now this is a little advanced training. So the purpose of this document is to provide the training with a number of scenario that guide the way in which the process and object need to be amended to ensure the overall process when run in control room with robust and residently. So how robust we can make our process, how efficiently we can build the exception handling that in any case the process will not fail. So there are exercise outline the, so there is like uh, the aim of this exercise is to you to fix a process that utilize BP travel website with data provided from input file. So you are inheriting this process from another developer who has developed some way, but unfortunately the developer has now been moved into different project. Now your job is to get the process functioning to ensure it is robust, resilient and reliable, while at the same time applying the current best practices. So I hope I have shared the best practice document also with you. So you can refer the best practices that, while developing, you have to follow all sort of best practice. Like, for example, you should use, whenever you should use environment variable, you should use environment variable, I mean, credential manager. So all this, uh, the naming convention and all these things, how you can, design your process in more professional manner. So the document is broken down into scenarios that need to be fixed in order to build a functioning process. The process should launch BP travel web application. Your process should log in into website and navigate to create code page. Now, your process will need to load the input file containing 50 rows of code information into work queue called code request. And once the create code page, your process should begin creating code by working through all the cases in code request. For each code that is successfully created, you need to capture the code reference number, then add the reference number to the. So if you remember, we have already done this, right? I mean, this is something we have already achieved it, but we have done in sort of I mean, more basic way and kind of in our way of doing it, where because we might not have followed all the best practices and like whatever it is. But here it is in more uh, you know uh, following all those best practices and everything the guy has tried creating, but then he left, then someone else has taken the process, and there are a lot of issues that he find in the process, and it is something to go and rectify those error to make this process work. So you will utilize a process called create code. You should have three business object: BP travel, BP action, and BP travel login, and BP travel code. So if you see here, this object also got imported: BP travel, BP login, BP code. And obviously, like, you have different guides to refer it. So there are different scenario. If you see, like, application startup, launch, and login. The main process create code start with the starting of the application on the main title startup. So if you see in the process, in the main page, it start with a startup page. So from here it goes to startup page, call a startup page. In a startup page, first is try to launch the BP travel, right? Now here you can see that here it's sort of provided using the credential manager that we have discussed yesterday, and through credential manager it is getting the username and password and storing it here. Here I sort of hard coded it, but it won't be here. I mean, this hard coding should not be there and should come from the credential manager. So, and here they have given the note also: enterprise license holder should use Blue Prism credential instead of using data item initial value. So as soon as it comes here, so this particular state used to, so once you go and view the object, it is trying to launch the application. Okay, so as soon as launch, there is a wait stage where it is waiting for the login button to be reflected. Now, even if you go and see the, like, if you see this particular objects, so application modeler, right? So when I say highlight, so you can see all these so all application modeler, all the spying has been done correctly. Everything has been already built, but there are some issue that we have to find it out what the issue is. So it comes in login pages, try to log in. So in here also you see that it's written like here you have to build a scenario 1, scenario 2 you have to build here, then scenario 3, intelligent wait. So like that you have to go through this PDF file and try to build it. So see, first scenario is to begin the advanced consolidation exercise, we'll first need to open the process create code process. And once you have opened the process, go ahead and run the process and see if you can launch the application and log in. But you will see this error. Okay, so the thing is, if you go here and try to, so processes start here from the startup page. What is do it try to launch and try to log in into the application. And once this does, it comes to populate queue page. Populate queue is somewhere here, right? So here what it's doing, it is getting the file first. So first is getting the file, which file it has to process. So once it is success, it counts the row, the number of row in the file. And then if the number of row in the file is greater than 0, so if file is count is greater than 0, what is doing? So this is a scenario 1. So what you will see, like once you run the process, you will see that you are getting this particular issue in the login object. Okay, now the main thing is you have to find it out what's the issue is, right? So here you have to find it out what the issue is, why it is not able to log in into this particular object. And then there is scenario 2 that so it says that modify the solution to correct the error, because whenever you are going into this particular object, you see that it gives a error AMI error occurred in the wait stage, and it's not able to. Yeah. So for example, see, if I just start running this process from here, what happens? It is going to startup page. It is trying to launch the application. It is going and see, it is throwing the error. AMI error occurred in the wait stage. Login button on page login not connected. So the process is not connected. Although it launched the process, but this process is not connected to the object. So that's what this particular error that is you're saying. Now you have to go there and modify it. Now where you will go, since this particular error is getting thrown in this particular stage, right? So what you can do, I mean, how you will first debug it, right? So what will your approach to debug it? So first you will create a breakpoint here, and you will try to run it, right? The application. So even you don't need to go and run from the start, right? You don't need to go and run from the start. So what you can do, since you are in this page itself, go and set next stage. So you can run from your process from here. So you can say step, you can say step over, because if you do a step, it will go inside this particular object, but you don't want to go inside. Or if you want to go, then you can go by doing the step. It will go inside the particular object. It will try to launch the application, and then this is waiting for what? This is waiting for button login page. Now this application has already launched and button login page is already available, so it will come to end. So as soon as it's come to end, it will go in the other part. So here what is happening, here you see this attach is disabled, right? So application is not attached. So when it will come here, if you do, this particular error will come. So the error is here. So here between start and login button, you have to attach the application. So I already told you that there is an option here in navigate. Once you bring the navigate action here, so there is a navigate option here. Yeah, in this navigate option, if you see like some error problem is happening, not sure. Okay, So there is a navigate option here. So if you bring this BP travel basic action here, so here you can see there is an attach option. So once you click on attach, it will ask you for window title. So what is the window title? The particular page. So that you have to provide in a text format. If there is any process name that you can provide here, child index, whatever child index is, that is you have to provide. So that is how you can attach this application. So what happened, like, once you launch it, right? Once you launch anything, you see this particular page get attached to this object, and then because that's why it show you the button detach, right? So once you detach, so here you can detach it, so it get detached. So the same concept you have to apply. You have to attach the application before start, and you know which page it was, whichever page it was, you have to do that. You got the error here, right? So probably editing the business object, unlock. Okay, it was got locked. So yeah, so you can see it is already written scenario one. So you have to attach one attach stage here in between this, and then run it. So as soon as you run it, this application will start throwing. I mean, it will get connected and it will get processed. Now, second scenario is parameters and missing data. Now that you have attached the application, reset and rerun your process through the studio. Are you able to log in this time? Not quite. You run into validation error and message to enter your username. It says that please enter your username because the username field was blank. So what happened here is, like, you are trying to pass the username and password from your main process, right? This is your main process, and from here what you are doing. So if I have to pass any input data from my high level application to low level application, how we will doing? We are going and defining some input data in my lower process. So this is, let's say, my object where I'm passing. So here you will define username and password, and then the same thing will get reflected here. So username and password, I'm passing BP travel username, BP travel password, and I have provided the value here. Now once you go here, the problem is I have not mapped it to store in some value, like, I have not given any value here. So that's what the problem is. So you have to take the username and attach the password here so that it gets the value which you are passing from the main process. And then when it's go into the writer stage, it can provide the input value through the username and password, and then click on login. Then there is a wait stage, right? So it is possible that BP travel system application stop working after you enter the login credential and click login button. You will not go to create code page. So if you see after this, completing the startup page in the main page, uh, it is going to populate queue stage, right? So yeah, just a minute. So here, if you go here, okay. So here we are trying to log in, but before logging, you see we have to add intelligent wait, right? I mean, I have provided my credential and I'm trying to log in, but I should be waiting for some time until and unless my view code page get enabled. If the view until and unless the view page is not enabled, we should be waiting. So if you can see here, intelligent waiting you have to apply, right? So that's what this particular scenario is saying. This error message does not necessarily tell you what went wrong. Moreover, it does not give you the business object the flexibility to work with Flickr application Apply best practice by modifying the BP Travel login object to include an intelligent wait stage after the login is pushed, pausing until both the login page has disappeared and create code page has appeared. So that's how you apply the intelligent wait. Now the wildcard character in the window title, right? So when you're attaching it something, so let us revisit the purpose of attach in business object. In the foundation course, you have learned that attach stage is used to connect a business object to a running application. It need an input value to help it identify the application, right? Either you provide the window title or application name, something like that. So this is done via the navigate stage as illustrated in the figure below. So you see that here what we do, like we define the process name. So let's say I Internet Explorer, I Explorer, and then you provide window title. This is some variable which is holding the window title. Say let's say BP travel login is the window title. So in this scenario, let us attach the page of the business object BP travel login. On the attached page, note that application window title is stored in variable BP travel window title, right? So if you go here, sorry, yeah,
Here, the attach, in the sense, it is similar to launch or it is different.
attach is not similar to launch. So launch is you are launching the application. Okay, now attach it as runtime. Uh, you have already launched the application, right? Okay, and then you are performing some action. Now you are going and performing some other action. Okay, but at that time you have to you don't again have to launch the application to perform the action. You know, let's say I have logged in into some application, okay, and I'm started with performing some application. Now if again I wanted to perform some additional actions, I again do not need to log in. I can just directly use the attach stage to attach the particular web page into the object and then start performing the action that I want to do. So what is happening, this particular object, if you see here, you are just launching it. So once I launched it, now I'm going in different object, and in this different object, I have my login action. Now this object does not know, because this is separate object. This object does not know if the particular application is attached to this particular object, BP travel login. So for that, since you have already launched the particular application, you do not need to launch it again. You just have to attach it. So that's what this particular attach stage used to do. And if you go here in the main page, no, not in main page. Yeah. Yeah. So if you see this BP travel window title, so BP travel initial value BP travel and then star untitled dot untitled. So this is what I mean, what happens here. If you see what is trying to say, basically, if you define the complete name, BP travel login, let's say BP travel login is the complete name of the window title, to with the application you have launched to. So what happened, let's say this particular name can get changed if you move from development to QA, or because maybe in QA you might be using some different title other than BP travel. So that it can depend, right? So let's say that's what he is telling, that there could be number of test system, each with its own window title. BP travel system test 1, BP travel system test 2. So in that case, whatever you have defined will get failed, right? So that's what we have to use something called wildcard character. So instead of giving the full name, if you see here, what it did, like it mentioned BP travel star. So it will take anything with BP travel. After that, whatever it come will be kind of wildcard characters. So BP travel will be common, and then even if you change anything, it will process it based on the wildcard that you have defined. So that's what it's this particular scenario is talking about, scenario 4. So when you come across this type of scenario, you should be using wildcards. So at least in any case, your process should not get failed. So obviously you'll be getting all this requirement where, in you know, like in the QA system, if the title get changed, or you have to keep all this thing in mind while designing it. Now, exception recovery, loop, and cleanup. So in this scenario, we will revisit the best practice for exception recovery, loop, and cleanup. So let's go back to the process create code and go to the startup page. This page has logic to launch and log in into BP travel system. You will notice here the launch and login action are encapsulated in two separate blocks. This has been designed so that any issue or system exception which launch and login are in handled appropriately within the process. So this particular login and launch, right? See, for the login we have a separate block, and sorry, for launch we have a separate block, and for login we have a separate block. So anything, any problem happens in the launch stage, we are trying to recover it, right? So whatever exception type and exception detail we are capturing in the particular variable, and then throwing the system exception. So similarly for this thing, login page. As part of the design best practice, it is recommended that when possible, system exception should be retired within the process. For example, BP travel system application became unavailable due to connectivity issue after launch. In this scenario, there will be a system exception generated when try to log in. In order that the process does not terminate immediately after the first attempt, and to allow the process additional attempt at the login before terminating, a retry loop should be placed appropriately. So what is saying that, let's say you have launched the application, right? And before you are going to log in into the application, what happened? Some network failure happened. Now build something where, if in case of any network failure or any failure, you don't end up giving the process, in only one failure. So maybe just after you recover it, just try to build a loop system. I think this is what we have already taken. We have seen like how you can build a loop to increment, like to just to go around and trying 2 times before ending up the process. So what you used to give here, recover, resume, and end, right? So before, after recover and resume, and before going to end, you can build a loop process so it can go and try at least 3 times before ending the process. So that's what. And then populate queue. Now that you have fixed the process correctly, launch and log in into BP travel system application. Next step is to populate the work queue with the code data. As per the setup guide, input file required is quote XLS containing 50 rows. So this is I have already shared with you, which is the create column header and is available in create coexcel folder. The step to populate the queue with the class data can be found in process create code. So yeah, so if you come here, populate code, right? So once you go here, it is what it's doing is reading the file and then closing the file, and then it is trying to create the code. So all the process that we wanted to do is doing here. So that's what, like you have to so what is the scenario? Step to populate the queue. So it is giving the steps to populate the queue. Once the input file is picked, the process loop through each row of the Excel file and load the queue with the case data. So what it's doing, if you see, it is trying to get the file. Once you get the file, you check if. So once you get the file, you see the success message. It is a Boolean. So you see that the success is flag, or if there's no success in getting the file from the location, let's say the file is not available, then you throw the system exception. And after you get the file, you count the rows. So if the row count is so here in output, you count the number, right? So you check a condition that if the count is greater than 0, so if yes, then kill the Excel first and then create a new instance of Excel sheet. Now what you do, so you run a loop on the files because you have to loop entire file 50, I mean whatever the number of rows are there. So open file, read the file and close workbook, and then file data. You are running on the file data. Here you are running here on the file. So again, for every row, what you are trying to do, you are trying to create the code with all the item that you want to give. So title, first name, last name, email contact, postal code, flying from, flying to. So all these things you can define in your multi calculation stage. So is item in the queue? So is item in queue? So if there is an item in the queue, so you define your queue name and the key, include pending, true. So all these things that you have defined here, and then the result, if there is any result that has been thrown, so then you add to queue. So then what you do is the same thing, that we want to add everything to the queue. So queue name you define in the variable, and then you are taking from there, and the collection name that you are taking it. So once you have added to queue, and once you move out of it, so if yeah, so here based on that it will loop every time, and trying to work on each and every item. So get next item here, if you see, it is trying to mark exception in case the item is getting fail. If yes, then it process it. So that's how this thing has worked on. And then there is a proper exception handling is not there. So it is saying that when he transferred the configuration to you, you also provide the second input file. So there was second Excel file, code2.xls. And what happened, this particular Excel file was blank. I will share this Excel file also. So what happened, when he was trying to read it, this file was getting, since there was nothing in the file, it was getting into exception and getting a deeper problem. So how you are trying to recover it using that exception handling that you have to define here. So see, proper exception handling is not there. So that's, you have to do the proper exception handling here. Then scenario 7 is there, where based on that, how you are going to tag the item. Recently, the client have requested a report to easily view all the item based on departure airport code. So the process load all the cases and available in the queue code to XLS. So how you will be, taking all this scenario into effect, by using the tag stage. So how you will be, because tag, I have told you why we used to use a tag stage, because we want to filter it, right? If you wanted to see some particular section of item, that's why you use the tag item. So that's what it's saying, the client has requested to report to easily view all item based on a departure airport code. So I just, let's say, wanted to see the item in the queue with the departure airport code. So the process load all the cases that are available in code.xls to the queue. However, there's no way of grouping them based on a departure airport code. So you have to tag the item based on departure airport code. So then you have to build a tag stage accordingly to do that. And then there are some other things, like you will be using global send keys event and all those things. Then application modeler and attribute matching. As you keep on working on updating the building, the configuration, you decide to take a look on a business object that be a part of original build. So review the business object, open the application modeler, launch the BP, and so when you are launching it, you see this particular issue. No, instead of get an error, indicate the application timed out while waiting to navigate the login screen after entering the credential. So how you will debug this error and modify the solution as necessary to log in successfully. So this is scenario 8. So Q tag. Then dynamic path element. So dynamic path, we have already told you, like you would have learned about dynamic path in the browser automation guide. So in this scenario, we will demonstrate how to use dynamic path element. The left navigation menu is currently implemented. So using the individual element in the application modeler to be more concise and flexible going forward, modify the solution as necessary to navigate using a single element and dynamic attributes. So what happens, like, when you open the application modeler, so here we have used several other state, right? So if there is any kind of dynamic thing that you see here, like let's say most of the thing is already common, and if we see the possibility of using the dynamic attribute, so how we can efficiently use it. That's what it's talking about. Then yeah, using global send key. So there are some different options are there. Global send key, how you are sending the same data using the send key option. Function and using in the text file. So while testing the process, create code, you wanted to ensure the process is capable of handling all the exception arises due to bad input data. So if there is any bad input data, like you wanted to validate if the symbol, this is correct or not, if the email is valid or not, that there's any an alphanumeric value, no special symbol. So for that, what you will be using, to validate this particular scenarios. Casting data type. So see, there are some of the things you must be feeling that, I mean, it's little, you might have not seen this. I mean, not seen, but I mean, what I'm trying to say, it is little complex, but then it's a advanced training, right? So this is something where once you are comfortable with 1 or 2 months of practicing, it is advisable to go through. But I just wanted to give you the glance so you can try at least. So at least you can get a feel of it, like actually when you'll be implementing the process into production. I mean, these are the things you will be doing it. Actually, you'll be utilizing all your knowledge that you have taken so far into building all these scenarios. Casting the data type, how you'll be casting. So casting, we have already seen, like if the Excel sheet is returning text and you wanted to change into date, how you'll be doing that. And design consideration and best practices. So how you'll be, I have some more guides on best practices and solution design overview. I'll be sharing that. Then you can go through it and understand more on it. How you'll be using the environmental variable. So environmental variable, how you are going to use it, those are you have to see. So here, if you see, I mean, there are a lot of environmental variable possibilities are there that you can use it. Use of appropriate exceptions type, right? So I have told you there are business exception, system exception, unknown exception. So which type of exception you will define as system exception, which type of you will define as business exception. So you should know all these things. So and accordingly, when you are building the process, you can define it. You will find it everything in the BP release file that I'll be sharing. So here, if you see here, he defined a known exception, if this is correct or not. Here define a system exception, right? So accordingly, we have to see where we want to define what. So pretty much, yeah, that's it. And then logging and security policy. So based on your recent discussion with security team within the client organization, you have learned that passenger name and phone number are confidential information. Session process, you are not looking for a solution that will prevent confidential data from appearing on the logs. So modify solution message to ensure that no PHI, name, email, phone number appear on the log unmasked. So all these thing, the scenario is talking about. So that is the possibility we can build it here. Yeah, so I will share this file with you, and maybe you can go ahead and try some of the things. So it will be, give you a better idea. And then we will take some session to clear your doubt and then go through it. If there is any additional thing that you have not understood so far, you wanted to revisit. So anything, guys, you wanted to understand more, or if anything is not clear to you. Anil, Charan, Lakshman, Venkatesh, Vinod, anyone? No one has any doubt?
If
Vinod,
an application is already launched in the desktop, we can automate that as well.
come again, I didn't get you. If this application is?
Like Internet Explorer is already launched on your desktop right now, right? So
Right.
yeah, can we use that already launched application? Can we?
Yeah, you can do
Uh,
it. I mean, it's not a problem. But if the application itself has launched, you cannot launch it. But I can open any number of Internet Explorer. That will not prevent this application to launch. But if, let's say, if I run this application,
yeah.
it's launching, right? Now again, if let it be here, and then I again go here and say, so say fail to perform a step in negation because application already launched. So this application is already launched, right? So that's why
Yeah,
it will
yeah.
not launch it again.
No, like while creating an application modular, we had an option, right? Do we
Yeah,
need to uh, relaunch the application or something like that? So that's the reason I'm asking you.
yeah. So even in application modeler, right? I mean, you can launch the application. Okay, so that's not a problem. And then it's up to you. I mean, it won't create any problem for you. I mean, but while running the process, you won't go to application modeler, right?
No, that's not what I'm asking. Can you please go to a new screen and can you please click on the application modular? Can you try creating or
So this is
launching a new application?
okay. So you want to launch, right? You want to launch any application.
No. From the application modular, can you please create, try launching a new application from the application modular?
From application modeler, you are saying to launch any. Okay, let me take any other.
A completely new one, a completely new object.
Okay.
Just create a new object. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now if you are trying to, okay, it's not. Can you please? Yeah. If you try to, uh, if we need to try accessing an application from here, you need to create some
So which
application modular
application?
for that. Right?
Yeah, which application do you want to automate? A window application or browser application?
No. Can you
Any
go
application?
back? The first screen itself. The first screen itself.
This is the first
Yeah,
screen.
share the application. Yeah, here share the application model with of another object or some. What, what was this
So it
option for?
so
And
it says
like
that
we have
share.
different options here, right? So I would like to know like what are the other options for
Okay, in this
this purpose.
application modeler, there are different options. So you want to know what these different options are, right? So the
Yeah,
first option is define a new application model. Here we are creating a brand new application modeler. Here it is like share the application model of another project. So if there is any application model for other project, okay, and you wanted to share it with that, so here you can select the particular option, and like let's say you have a parent object, right? So let parent object is BP travel login, let's say, and then you are building there is other login, I mean there is other travel site, XYZ travel site. So you wanted to attach, this, you want to share the object with the parent object. So here you can select, you can make that object as a parent object and select it. But this option I've hardly seen, to be very frank. I mean, whenever we are going and trying to automate it, we always choose the first option because we are trying to build a application modeler from scratch, right? So, and this option is don't use an application modeler with this object. So this is something, you don't not using this application modeler with this object. But whenever you are going and automating any application, the only option that I've seen so far is you select this first option, right? And then define all the
yeah,
parameters,
yeah.
because here
Okay.
only you define which application you wanted to automate, right? So there is option like a browser which is already running or browser that is launched from an executable file. So you have option to select, and then
Yeah,
default is the Internet Explorer because Blue Prism support Internet Explorer, right?
yeah. Okay.
But you can
Okay.
define Chrome also. I mean, Chrome also you can define it, but it's not that much stable. But yeah, it will do that. Now you can log in through the command line parameters also. And even if you don't define any URL here, uh, you can create it. Okay. So let's say you have created it, and once you bring a navigate stage here, launch the application. So here, if you see, you can provide the path. So here you can provide the path, like you can define the which URL you wanted to open.
Yeah, like there are some other like there are some other parameters which we need to give here, right? Of course, they are not mandatory, but I would like to know what are they
Yeah, so
used for.
which parameter application will, okay, let me go to application wizard. Which parameter you wanted to know? Let me. So
Yeah,
indicate what type of application here, these parameters.
yeah. Windows. Go to the Windows application.
Okay. So see, so there are different type of application, right? Some application, the one that I've shown you was order application. That was a window application. So whenever you
Yeah,
wanted to automate a window application, you will select the window application option, right? So
yeah,
these
yeah.
are self-explanatory. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are okay. Go to the next stage.
Okay. Okay. Just let me stop me wherever you have doubt. So I'll just focus on that part.
See, here my application will be running. I want to attach to an existing instance or something like that. So what is
Yeah.
that
So that
option
is
for?
this is the same thing. So, I don't want to launch my application. I wanted to, I say that my application will always be, running. Let's say you have logged in into particular application and you don't want to log in again and again. The application is launched, and you just have to use the launch application to work on it. So in
No,
that
yeah,
case,
that's the
you will be
reason. That's what I'm asking you here. Like if we already opened the application, like our site, traveling site in the Internet Explorer, and can we select this option and try accessing and creating the quotes?
Yeah, you can do that. I mean, so when your application is already launched, so you can select this particular option. My application will already be running. I want to attach an existing instance, but in that case, you have to attach it, right? So you would not be using the launch option. You would using the attach option, right? You're getting my point.
Okay. Yeah.
See,
Okay.
in BP Travel, first we have logged in, right? I mean, first we have launched the application, and then we have tried to attach it through different object. This is the same thing. So instead of my application is launched from executable file, you are selecting this. So you are already launched the application, but then in order to work on any element of the launched application, first you have to attach it to particular object in where you have built all the action to work on the element of the executable file, right? So that's what attach option this navigate stage provide to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Next stage. Okay. Just enter something. Enter some application name or something.
Yeah, enter the window process name or application of the target application.
Yeah.
You can
After
define
that,
the application name if you want.
just move to the next stage.
Next stage, yeah.
What is that option like? Eh, restrict to non-invasive embedded. Yeah.
Restrict to non-invasive automation techniques. So, I mean, even I'm also not very sure what this non-invasive automation technique are, to be very frank. But usually we keep this option checked in, right? I mean, there is nothing, uh, anything kind of hidden for non-invasive automation technique. But even if you build any of the model, this particular option always remain checked. But I'm not very sure on non-invasive automation technique what these are. But I can check and get back to you on this.
Yeah. Okay. No, I just want to know like what are these
Yeah.
options for?
So these are default option. These you will never like whatever so far I have built the application modeler. These are always remain checked. I mean, you don't uncheck it. These are default.
Okay.
Yeah, these are default. You will not go and change to 64-bit mode, or these are default embedded thing that you'll be choosing it.
Okay.
Yeah. Even you can go and give a try from your end, try to just play around, see what all options, and then probably you'll get more understanding of it and get more doubt on it, like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying that, and
Yeah, I
also like,
understand it will take
can
some
you?
time for. Yeah, go ahead. I didn't hear you.
No, like I am already working on some other programming language like Unix shell scripting and all. So I was not able to like compare
Yeah.
these two. Like I was expecting this tool to be like a programming language. So
Okay. So see, I mean, this is not because RPA, this particular tool has been designed in such a way that to reduce the dependency on the code. So even in any organization, they don't want to, go into creating a lot of code and use out of box option that the Blue Prism provide, because what happens when you do heavy coding and then you leave the organization, then there are a lot of dependency on the organization to maintain the code and all. But here the process are very should be, yeah. That's why the main concept is that because whatever you are creating is getting changed into coding part in the backend, right?
Yeah. Okay. And like I tried copying two values like two collection
So
objects, but it's not
you can
happening
you
like
can
one by one.
you can show me the, like, you can share your desktop. We can see the process.
No, like I am connecting through phone, so sorry.
Okay.
I,
So
my
probably,
system has no mic, so I'm not able to speak.
but you can at the same time you can connect to system,
Hello.
and then yeah, you can connect to system also, and you can connect with the phone also. Okay. So in that way you can able to
Hello.
show me. Yeah, I'm able to hear you. Vinod? Is this Vinod or Venkatesh? Hello? Hello? Venkatesh?
No, Karan, I am not typing. I think
Okay, okay.
Vinod disconnect.
Actually, I think his voice is not audible. Yeah. Hello, Vinod, your voice is not audible here. If you can reconnect or
Yeah.
try to
Hello.
speak.
Yeah, I just reconnected right now. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, okay. Now it's audible, no problem. So yeah, Vinod, I was saying you can try to connect through system, and at the same time you can remain connected on your phone. And probably you can. But what's the problem you are facing, Vinod?
No, like I just tried copying data from one collection object to another collection object.
Okay.
Yeah. So like it's not
So
happening. I'm trying to copy it one by one, like one value to another value.
okay.
Or row by row, like student one and then student two and student three.
Okay. So you are saying you have some data in one collection and you have some data in collection two, right? Now you
Yeah.
wanted to send all the data from collection one to collection two, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we know in that case, you don't even require to copy it. So there is a merge option in when you go to utility collection stage, So here, if you okay, if you go to bring any action stage here, if you go here and utility collection manipulation,
Okay.
so there is a merge collection option. So in merge collection option, you can say that you can give the two collection one and collection two, and the output collection will be the merge collection. So you can send all the data to the merge collection. So you don't
No,
even
like
need to copy it. But even if you want to copy
no.
it, maybe you can loop into the one collection and keep on appending the value to the other collection using the multi-calculation stage.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, you're getting my point.
Like
So you first loop
I
into one
tried to
collection.
append it, but it didn't work. So that's the reason.
Yeah, I'm giving you the idea. Just try it. What you can do, you can
No.
loop into one collection, get each and every row. For every
Yeah,
row, okay.
I tried that, but it didn't work for me. It's throwing some exception. It's not showing
Okay.
any errors, but it's throwing some exception while runtime. So I'm not able to
Can you
understand that.
generate the BP release file of same? Can you create
BP
a
release.
package? I've
Yeah.
shown you
Okay.
this in exercise, right? You can create a
Yeah.
BP release file, right? You can create a package and you can export and it will be exported in BP release, and you can share the BP release file. So I will have a look into your process if you're not able to share your desktop.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Like I manually like you gave us an assignment last time, right?
Right,
For
right.
upgrading the grades of the student.
Right.
Yeah, for that I tried instead of writing each value into an Excel, I tried to make that values into two different collections, and then I faced this problem.
Okay. See, the way of doing it can be a different way of doing it. So maybe something you might have missed
Yeah.
there. So that is only when we can see the process we can understand it.
No, like it's not able to append it, like it's not able to identify. That's the problem.
Okay. So what you can do, maybe you can create some breakpoint, run step by step. Okay, see exactly where the issue is coming, where it is not able to append, and you can identify the problem through that.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything
Karan,
else? Yeah.
I have two questions. Okay,
Yeah, Venkat.
so we have seen in the IRCTC, right? So IRCTC, we could see the captcha images there, right?
IRCTC?
So we have captcha image.
Yeah. Captcha is there.
Okay, so can we read that one and can we log in through IRCTC using the Blue Prism? Any feature is there to read the captcha image?
Blue Prism does not support captcha feature, right? I mean, you can do that using surface automation, but it is very, very unstable. I mean, so through surface automation, you can achieve it. You can read the image because captcha is just an image, right?
Yes.
You're getting my point. So what
Yes,
I'm
yes.
trying to say here, captcha is just an image. So through surface automation, you can read the image and get the value and put it there. But uh, only thing is these type of thing, and like we don't Blue Prism don't encourage to use captcha and all, because when you're running in the production, it will all like sometime it get fail, sometime it get pass. It's not very stable, but we can do
Okay.
that. I mean, using this surface automation techniques.
Okay. So the second question is, Karan, so whenever some websites, if we are logging, okay, so that time some that is a JavaScript pop-up window will come to collect the username and password.
To correct the username and password, so you
Yes.
you can invoke JavaScript actions. Like you can invoke the JavaScript also, right? So there is option here in the invoking the JavaScript.
Uh, okay, so use Blue Prism, we can.
Yeah, through Blue Prism you can invoke the JavaScript. So when you will, I have given you browser automation guide, right? So there you can refer to Java, like invoking JavaScript functionalities there. So you can invoke the JavaScript.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another thing, Karan, so is there any possibility to see the production environment, any live environment you have in our certain for a live server and the client machines where the robot is running? Yeah, so I want to see the setup of how we are setting the desktop application. That means a desktop machine and a server machine.
See, to be very frank, oh no, I mean, those are like, when you'll be working on the enterprise system only, right? But
Yes.
what I mean, like, but what you are trying to understand here is how this setup is, right? So
Yes,
what
correct.
happened?
How
Yeah,
we
what
are setting
happened?
the
Every person, like as a developer, every person has their own VMs, right? Like dev VMs assigned to you. So let's say when you go start and working in a RPA project, so you have one dev VM assigned to you, right? So you will log
yes.
into that virtual machine, and in that
Mhm.
virtual machine, the admin team who is doing the provisioning, he will provide you all the access and everything, right? Like you
Yes.
should have access to process designer, you should have access to object designer, and then let's say you start working on IRCT site automation. Then in that VM, you'll be provided with access to work on, like you can open the IRCTC website and do all those things. And then accordingly, your robo will be configured. So when I say control room, right? So control room pretty much will look like similar to what you are seeing here. Just that instead of, you are seeing one robo here, there will be multiple
Yes.
robo and, taking you all this thing. But the configuration, I mean, the main thing is
Multiple robots
how
will
the servers.
multiple robots in available resources. It is showing desktop be here like that. Okay, so this is one
Yeah,
robot
here.
which is in your machine. Okay,
Exactly.
so
So
in
there
one
there
machine I
will
can
be
see
all
one.
level. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead. I didn't get you.
Okay, so in my machine, my VM machine, I could see only one robot, right? So in server only we can see all the robot list, right?
Yeah, that's what. Even if you connect to the VMs, right? There you will see all the row because there your VM is directly connected to the application server. Like your VM is like a servant and it is connected to master, right? So there all
Yes.
the resources will be available, and for your process you will be assigned one bot, right? So
Yes.
one bot machine, let's say XYZ bot, which is specifically assigned to your process. So you, this will always going to start picking if any item is coming into your queue by this particular bot. So this bot will get provision to work on this particular process only. So, and that is the work of the administration team. So there will be a different team who will be, assigning the bot and all. This is not a development team work. So,
Okay.
I mean, yeah, as a part of development responsibility, you will be concerned mostly on development and testing the things. Other than that, environment handling and like all this access and all this thing will be taken care by admin team.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Karan, yesterday we discussed every VMware machine. It's on considered as the one robot having specific separate license, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So
So
one
currently,
VM,
okay.
yeah. So what happened? Let's say you have created one process, let's say IRCTC, for example, and in IRCTC, you are in a one day you are getting thousands of requests. So obviously, you first calculate that your process, how much load is there on your process, how much time it need to be run. So you see that the utilization is so you calculate. So there is a way you calculate the utilization of your process, like utilization of your bot. So when you say the utilization is more than 60-70%, then there will be one robot dedicated to the particular process. Okay, so in that case, what happened? Like you create a VM where only this particular process will be running, and the bot which is assigned to work on this particular process will always be available. So it was like unattended automation. It will, you just schedule it and it will keep taking the processes and running on this particular VM. Okay. So don't
Okay.
confuse by VM. So you have your own
Yeah.
development environment, right, where you are developing it. But when it is shipping out to production, right? So in production, you have different VMs, right? Like how you are going to run your process is on one VM. So that VM, there will be one bot assigned to that process, and it will be running, whatever schedule that you have defined.
My confusion here is current. So each EM having separate license. So for example, currently in our team we are using 5 VMs, right? So 5 VM, 5 robots. I have checked in the that is Google for Blue Prism for 5 to 10 robots. The cost is around $20K per year, like that they mentioned. But we got the access from ASA 24 for lifetime access, right? So that's why I confused with that one. So VM where we are having separate license or not?
Yeah, so what happens for every VM, you can set up one bot. Okay. So every VM will have, let's say, as a one license. Okay. But let's say if the process is not running, you know, 24 hours, if the process is only running 4 hours, okay,
Okay.
then you can share the bot between two different VMs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is also possible. So, but if the process is running completely by that particular bot, then what you can do, like, I mean, you can uh, just use that particular bot to run the particular process in one VM. But if the process run only 2 hours in morning and then it don't run till evening, then you can run the process, shut down the bot, and then the bot will be available. So that's why it's say available resources, right? So the bot will become available, and then it can use by different VM to run their processes. So you can schedule the robo accordingly, based on their availability and time.
Okay.
So that's possible, yeah.
Okay, Karan, that's it from my end.
Okay.
Thanks.
Hi, Karan. I joined through my system. 1 minute.
Okay.
So you're able to hear me now, right?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you.
Can I share you the screen? Like, can you give me the presenter access?
Yeah.
Sorry, Karan, I'm going to disconnect the meeting. Go to meeting. Okay, I'm going to office.
Sure, no problem. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm trying to share the screen with you. Give me just, let me see what. Okay. So I have make you the presenter.
Not me. Like, there is another ID. Like, I connected with another. Like, I am using two parallel instances right now. So,
Okay, this is not your ID. Okay.
can you please give it to the?
Presenter to waiting for name. Okay. So did you get that? What is the
Yeah.
name? Okay, you got the request.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you share your screen?
1 minute. It's downloading something, so it's taking time. 1 minute. Yeah.
Hi Karan, this is Anil here.
Hey Anil.
I have to drop off now.
Sure, go ahead. No problem.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Bye. Yeah, we know this is still not able to download.
Yeah, it's like installing. It's taking time.
Okay.
Or can I share it tomorrow? It's taking long. Or is that okay? Hello.
Yeah, I'm just asking how much it is downloading. Like, I mean, it is really slow or
Yeah, it's a bit slow.
okay. Then no problem. Download it, and then you can also share the BP release file with me, right?
Yeah,
You know how
okay.
to do it, right? Or you want me to tell you again? You
No,
can
it's
refer to the
okay. I
video.
know that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll share.
Okay, okay.
No, I
So,
had it as a past version, so that is
okay, no problem. Just share the BP release file. So I will go through it, and tomorrow I'll let you know. Okay.
yeah, okay.
All right. Then see you tomorrow.
Thanks.
Bye.
Sir.